My name is Debra R. Richardson of Debra R. Richardson LLC, and I work with you to help you clean up your vendor data, clean up your vendor processes so that you pay the right vendor. Now, this week's Vendor Master File tip of the week is what the fraud? What is check baking? I tell you, it is always something new in the world of fraud. Now, you may remember a Vendor Master File tip of the week I had earlier this month in May of 2023. And I talked about if you can't avoid writing a check with a pen, then use this type to avoid whitewashing. And whitewashing is when a fraudster gets a hold of a check and they will erase key data and replace it with their own fraudulent information. And so I talked about how to avoid that. But in this case, they're not whitewashing. So let's talk about check baking. So check baking, this is when they get your check, right? So they're either taking them out of your mail rooms at work or they're taking them out of the USPS mailboxes or maybe even out of your home mailbox, right, for your consumer side. Or they are the same way that they're trying to get you to change your vendor's banking information to divert ACH payments. They could be trying to get you to change your vendor's remittance address if they have a check payment method so they can get a hold of that check. Now, when they get a hold of that check, instead of whitewashing, what they'll do is take a picture of the signature and then they'll create a whole separate fake realistic looking check and they'll Photoshop that real signature onto that fake check. And that fake check does have, right, the routing number and the bank account number. Because remember, it's on the check that they just got you to reroute them to them or that they just stole. So that's check banking. They're not trying to whitewash a check and replace that information. They're just taking a picture of the signature and then photoshopping that on a realistic looking check. Always something new. Now, I do want to remind you that if you want to listen to or find out what the new frauds and new scam alerts are every month on the Vendor Process Training Center, which there is a link in the description, I have this training session that goes on the last Thursday of every month. And so we'll talk about all of the new frauds and all of the new scams and how to avoid them. And for 2023, if you pay for one session, you get to come to every month. And I do that because it is very important, I think, especially the vendor team, since you are targeted for a lot of these frauds, then so I provided at no additional cost with that one payment for every month, or you can attend every month of the year with that one payment because I think it's important that you keep up to date on frauds and you keep the team up to date. So, one of you can take it and then take it to your next vendor team meeting. Have it on the agenda as a standing agenda item so that it stays top of mind. So I will put the link to that in the description if you are interested. Little long-winded, but I think it's a great session. All right, so if you'd like more information on how to improve your vendor process, avoid fraud, please go to my website at deborarrichardson.com for tools and resources to avoid fraud, regulatory fines, and just overall bad vendor data. Now, if you would like over 149 annual hours of training for your vendor team, including fraud training, check out the Vendor Process Training Center at training.deborarrichardson.com. So good luck and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified next Tuesday for the next Vendor Master File tip of the week.